Welcome to our review of your final project assignment. So as you can see, I've gone to Blackboard. I have gone to the content folder and then clicked on projects file. And in your projects file, the very final assignment in your projects file is the final project. This project altogether is worth 200 points of your final grade. So that's 20% of your course grade. So you have to do it. There's just no getting around it. Just about everybody, maybe not everybody, has turned in the first part of this, and this is the Explore component. And July 6th, almost everybody sent me a quick email saying, hey, I want to do this venue, and these are the 3 goals for the creative spirit that I think I will try to address by looking at this venue. Some of you chose Botanica. Some of you chose the St. Louis Arch. Some of you chose festivals in your hometowns. Any and all of those things are great. So you've done that part. If for some reason you haven't sent me a quick email telling me what you want to work on and the 3 goals you hope to address, please get that in ASAP. Part 2 of your project is due this week. It's due July 17th. Today's the 14th. It's due in 3 days. This part of the project is called Follow the Money. That's an old reference to an old film related to the book All the President's Men. Follow the money. In what ways does the local government, it can be city, it can be county, maybe a state, in what ways does the local government use tax dollars to support the event or the venue you attended or you will review for our class? Do some research. This may take going online. This may take going and asking a librarian. Our librarians know what you're doing. They would be happy to entertain email questions if you can't physically get here. They would be happy to just have you come on in and talk to them. They think this is a great project because it allows them to direct you guys in doing research that, frankly, might one day prove important to you as a citizen in this country, right? How do I find out where my tax dollars are going? How do I make a difference with regard to those tax dollars? Do I want to have my voice heard? So, excuse me, you need to find out how your venue is funded. Now, it may be a combination of things. It may be that they get a tax break on their property. Maybe they don't have to pay property taxes. Maybe they get some kind of break in that they're in a tax zone, or maybe there's certain bonds that were used to help create this location, and that means they got very, very low interest rates, maybe from the city or from the county, to create this development. Whatever it may be, there are lots of different ways that public money goes into certain venues. It may be if, for example, your location is the Wichita Art Museum or the Mid-America All-Indian Center. Those venues are heavily supported by the city of Wichita and Sedgwick County. The same with the zoo, heavily supported. And I think the Wichita Art Museum gets fully 2/3 of its funding from the city of Wichita, right? In other places, it may be very minimal funding. If you go and look at the Museum of World Treasures, for example, one of the funding that they get from the city of Wichita is that they get a really great rate, if you will, to rent the building that the city owns that the museum is in. They don't get a lot of funding from the city, but they do get very close to rent-free on their building. It's not quite that free, but at any rate, so there are all kinds of breaks. Places like the Museum of World Treasures, therefore, then relies not only on taxpayer support, but also individual donors, other kinds of grants. And so you're going to find that many of these venues are not just the city writes a check, here we go. It may also require a lot of work from a lot of other people to keep it going. Private individuals, corporate giving, what have you. Now, you're not necessarily going to find everything that funds your spot. That's okay. I just need you to get in there and try to figure this out. What kind of funding goes in? Are you going to find all of it? Probably not. But start the work. Start the work. Some of you have asked, sent emails saying, hey, can I just take my original proposal and start building on it? Some of you gave me, in your original Explore project, a PowerPoint showing me everything. and you asked, can I just do my research on Follow the Money and add that to my PowerPoint or add that to the paragraph I wrote already? Fantastic. That's what I hope you'll do, is I hope that you will take the opportunity with both the Explore project and the Follow the Money project to really start that final project. So start pulling it all together and keep it all in one file, if you will. Keep building on it. Yeah? So, Follow the Money. This is due July 17th in an email to me, please, goldenc@newmanu.edu. In what ways does the local government use tax dollars to support the event or the venue you're focusing on? If you have trouble finding sources, ask me, ask a librarian. The next step, and it's a ways away, so don't forget, is the meat and potatoes of this presentation, the meat and potatoes of your project. This is due August 3rd. That's coming up, a couple of 3 weeks away. This is a 2 to 3 page process paper. This paper is going to demonstrate the following things: the inspiration for your work. Why did you choose this? Some of you have already addressed that. The 3 goals of the course you connect to your project. You've done that, right? And here's the kicker: how the project reflects those goals. I will be looking specifically for your analysis here. You've been doing such analysis at your discussion boards. You've been doing such analysis in your quizzes, in your papers. Now it's time to apply that analysis skills, those approaches and analysis, to your venue, to your individual project. Right? So it's not enough just to say, hey, it represents the creative spirit. It shows how we celebrate the creative spirit as a community. Great. Now tell me how. How do you know that? Why do you know that? Give us a good paragraph, if you will, on each one of those goals and how your venue helps us to recognize that goal, to see that goal in action. Also in this process paper, you're going to be looking at how 3 of your course readings help to support your presentation, help to support your analysis. Yes, please use some of our discussions, use some of our activities. Absolutely. Some of you may have thought the Out and About project was helpful. Some of you may think the Creolization project is helpful. Some of you may think that some of you may have got some really great inspiration from some of your colleagues at your discussion boards. Fantastic, go. But I need you to be able to connect at least 3 of the course readings, to your venue, to your location. What does that mean? That means that you can use elements from those papers you wrote to support your final project. You may have found that for example, the Elizabethan pressure on theaters was such that Shakespeare was careful in how he presented his ideas to the community. You may then connect that with that art in the park, that art in the garden element that talked about how some people might have found certain art offensive in a public venue. Again, while the Elizabethans were trying to maybe keep some political order in London, the folks who were complaining about the statue in the Arboretum may be trying to keep some moral order in Kansas City. Yeah? So you may be able to make some connections that way. So that's the idea. How can you use Antigone's ideas about justice in the community, religious ideology in the community, Shakespeare's idea about crowd control in the community, Mary Ryan's idea about how a parade represents who we are, creates our identity for us. Yeah? So try to use some things you've already worked on to support what you're saying here. It sounds a little harder, a little more complex than it really is, but this is where you really show how you're pulling the whole thing together. Finally, in your process paper, what kind of choices are you making in how you'll present your final project? We're asking also by August 5th that you create a reflection on your final project. That it can be a paper, it can be a PowerPoint presentation, it can be a song, a poem, it can be art, it can be a photo essay, whatever you're doing, why have you chosen to present your final project to your colleagues in this way? Yeah. So, getting back to the whole review of our final project, we're looking for something where you're going to do an analysis of a city-supported arts or entertainment venue that helps to define the identity or the culture of the city or community it represents. So you've started with that. So keep that identity issue also uppermost in your mind. How does the Keeper of the Plains identify Wichita? How does the St. Louis Arch identify St. Louis? How does the Arkalala Festival identify Arc City? How does people are looking at everything from professional baseball to theater to Century 2 in Wichita. How does this help to identify the community that supports it? And how do we address the spirits, the goals for the creative spirit? And then how can you use materials you've already used in class, work you've already done? Review what you've already done to pull it all together. Yeah. So what's due this week? Just a recap. Follow the money. Due on Friday. Is that right? The 17th? Due on Friday. Get that in. If you have trouble, let me know. This is a work in progress. So I just need to see you doing the work. All right? We'll come back and visit this. But what's due on July 17th? Where's the money coming from that supports the venue that you're going to research? Show your work. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Everyone's doing really well in this class. Again, if you're a little bit behind on something, please stop being behind. Get it done. Get it in, because these next couple of weeks are going to offer you time to catch up, but also to think about this final project. All right. I'm going to get out of the way. I have other work to grade, obviously, so hang in there. Let me know if you're having any troubles. Email me. Come see me at the office Wednesday afternoons if that's helpful. We'll talk to you soon.